Welcome to Thursday night. Scotch for Dummies. Tonight, we are doing a samples special. We've been sent a few special bottles that we're going to try out, give our opinions on, and let you know how they turn out. We've also got some Scotch in the news, and we're just going to chat, catch up, and see what's going on. Stick around.
Hey guys, it is Scotch for Dummies.
Four guys here to help you with your next Scotch purchase. Welcome to Thursday.
Welcome everybody.
Thursday.
At your respective bars.
Cilantro boys. Long week.
Hey guys. I'm gonna feel something.
What a long week.
It's been going by fast for me, actually. It kind of Thursday crept up on me pretty quick, but been a busy week, that's for sure. It's good to see you guys. You're all healthy and well, I take it.
Yeah, can't complain. We're making it through the crisis anyway.
Enough toilet paper on hand. You're in good shape.
Yeah, so far, man. I was thinking about just going over and when it gets dark, kind of wiping in your grass, but we're not there yet. Not there yet.
Neighbors don't pick their dog stuff up. Why? What's the difference?
Exactly.
No. Let's see who we got on before we dive into what we're going to get in tonight. It's kind of exciting. I've actually been looking forward to this for a couple of weeks now. But let's see who we got going on here, man. Too Slow. What's up with Too Slow? You're not. I beat you to the chat. But I see James and the Blocklinger and Zach Andrew and Bob. They were on the pre-show, the Zoom channel, which we just got off of. For those of you that aren't patrons, we do now a Zoom chat, right? It's not just that we used to do just a voice chat pre-show, but now the Zoom is a hot topic. We've actually been getting visual and having some fun and changing backgrounds and sharing a dram before the show. But I see there's a lot of other people. Why don't you go around the horn and give some shout outs, Andrew?
We got Scotch Down Under, Greg Lewis, Bob, Zach, Kim Redrick, multiple Jameses. Still E is in. Chad, Justin O.
We can give a shout out to Stills. It's his 40th birthday, and he just opened the King Alexander.
Oh, whoa, time out. Hang on a second. Happy birthday. Happy 40th to that guy right there. He is going to enjoy a hell of a dram.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Let's see.
Yeah, happy birthday, Stills, and happy health.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic.
So where'd you stop? We got Chad. We've got Justin. DB she's in. Always good to see you.
Yep.
Let's see. Nocturnal's in. Greg. Mark JT.
Mark JT.
I did see George Kaplan was on our Zoom on our pre-show earlier, and I didn't have a chance to ask him how Amy was doing. I haven't seen it and really had a good chat with George in such a long time. It was good to see him, but it's good to see you on the chat too, George. So I do want to catch up with you just one-on-one and see how things are going with you guys. Maybe share a dram.
Man, I am still behind on man. There's a lot of people in tonight.
Wow.
Well. Yeah. It's Thursday, man.
I mean, D. Billups is in. That's a name I don't recognize. It's a great to have people putting in the chat. Travis Faircloth's in. Nice.
Good to see that, man.
There we go. So it looks like a good stream tonight, man. We got a lot of people joining us.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's good.
For those that are watching, I know that Drew is doing a watch party over on Facebook. I think I'm doing a watch party on Facebook. I'm not sure if I got that worked out. Long story short, if I didn't. You guys can laugh at me and we'll have fun at it later. But for those that are watching the show for the first time or whatnot, we just want to say, welcome. Monday we had a really good show. We're doing Monday lives now, and we had Gordon Dundas from Ian McLeod, which was fun because he's got a pretty good job. I mean, he works for a family-owned, smaller company with some great brands. Got a great story on how he got to where he is, and it was fun. And 2 of his brands are hot on our list, right?
Yep.
So that was a good time. But what do we got going on tonight? You kind of alluded to it on the kickoff. I'm going to throw it over to Drew and let him give a little shout out to what's up with these, Drew. What are we doing tonight?
Well, I can talk about one for sure, and you can talk about the other 2. I know Travis is in the night, and he got a couple extra bottles from him. I'll let you talk about those in just a second. And I got one. Greg Lewis, is Greg on tonight? I'm not sure if I've seen him on the chat yet. Hopefully he's on.
I think so.
I thought I saw him on.
Yeah.
Greg Lewis sent us these a while back, actually. I'm thinking actually about a month and a half or so ago. We tried to get a couple of them in. We never got a chance to do it thanks to the coronavirus. But we're going to do them tonight. It's sample night. And this is the Ambassador 25-year-old. It's a blended Scotch back in the 1980s, guys. It's crazy. In 1960s. What? Yeah, it's this bottle in the 80s. This is nuts. Crazy stuff. But he basically got a bottle. He acquired it. And he wants our opinion on it. So we're going to go through that in a little bit and check it out.
Man, wait.
Awesome.
I'll get a clean glass for that.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I didn't know anything about it, to be honest with you, when he sent it, Drew. So doing a little Uncle Google searching and trying to figure out just what to expect here. My excitement level went up. I was like, the price of that bottle right now, if you go out and try to buy it, you're going to drop $500 easy on this bottle.
Yep.
So I'm really curious to see what this has to offer. And Greg, I appreciate you sending it to us, man. We're going to dive into this, and the 4 of us we're going to crack it open. And then we're going to get into these 2 samples that Travis Faircloth sent. He sent a Kilkerran 15 single cask Oloroso, which one of the interesting things about this particular one, when I was doing a little research on it, was to me they did it backwards, which is cool. It's their prerogative. We'll see what happens. But instead of putting it in bourbon first and then finishing in Oloroso, they put it in Oloroso for 10 years and then threw it in a refill bourbon. So the order was different. But anyway, that's kind of cool. And then this other one that he sent us, I can't believe he sent this to us. There's a good story behind this. I'm just going to give you guys a preview. It's a Glendronach. It's a single cask, 1992, 27-year-old.
PX.
A PX. It's going to be a bomb. It's going to be delicious. And we'll get into the story behind that when we really dive into it. I don't know what order we want to do these in, guys. But we got a little Scotch in the news and some things to talk about what's going on in the world of Scotch with what's going on in the world elsewhere and what we're all dealing with. So we got some of that to get into. Dying to see what some people have to say. I know that everybody that's watching has been cooped up just as long as we have. So it's interesting to see where you guys want to go with the conversation and the banter tonight, but we'll keep an eye on that and see what's up. Zach was on the pre-Zoom show a little while ago too. Look at that guy. He said, "Smash that like."
So let's talk about what we're all drinking. Sean, you just poured something.
Dead man walking.
He killed the zebra.
I don't know if it was a zebra or not, but Speyburn 15.
No,
That's good.
On the bar for a little bit, and there was just a sad little amount left, and yeah. Caught him.
Yeah, you're kind of known for that though, right?
Well, I know we were getting this Kilkerran. So I opened the Kilkerran 8 cask strength. So I'm kind of warming up with that. Man, that's sweetness. That's goodness.
That's a good bottle.
Yeah, that is a good bottle. It's strong.
I actually opened up the Monkey Shoulder earlier on our Zoom call to kind of just warm up. Right, it's a great warm up one, and then I poured this Cutler Berdine 25-year-old, which is also a decent dram, but I want to kind of keep it nice and light because I don't want to get too crazy once we get into these samples. I want to kind of
so this 25-year-old blend from the 80s would make it 50 years old. I mean, it's not 50 years aged, admittedly, but this was distilled before we were born, right?
I
don't know. So Greg's on the show.
It was because Greg said he was 3 years old, and I think he's in his late 60s. So, yeah.
Right, because the bottle that I found on whiskey-base.com is a 1960s bottling, and it's priced. It says average value is €325. But it's not. They don't sell it on this site. So I did find another site where it was for sale, and it was $499. And I don't know if that was pound or euro, but still, over the 500 USD, right?
Yep.
Well, let's talk about this thing, man.
I'm gonna share
Yeah.
this real quick. I don't know if you guys can see this yet or not here.
So I'm gonna need a glass. We're gonna look at this.
So these are some pictures
Okay.
Greg took for us.
Very cool.
This Ambassador 25 blended Scotch whiskey, 750 mil.
Yep, it's 43 ABV.
Yep.
Bottled in Scotland. Medley Imports, Owensboro, Kentucky. So that's the bottle. I think it's the same bottle you saw online, Mark, earlier. Taylor and Ferguson.
Yeah, which is a Glasgow company. I don't know. Don't even know if they're still in business or not. But that's the exact same bottle that you'll find on Master of Malt if you're trying to dig up a little bit. And I don't know if they have it for sale. The reviews on Master of Malt, I mean, everywhere you look, it seems to be very well received and enjoyed. I wish we could. There was one website that I read that gave me a little bit more of what we could expect as far as what kind of whiskeys you could expect, and they're taking a guess just because. Yeah, it says you should expect that there was some Scapa and some Glen Scotia used in this blend at some point in time, just because of the brand's ownership. You guys know how that is, right? If you own a couple single malts and you also own a blend, it's pretty common to put some of that single malt into that blend. But I don't know if that's
going to be like anything we've ever tasted anyway. I mean, it's an old enough juice that even if you're used to drinking, modern Scapa, it's not going to be the same.
It was modern Scapa from 50 years ago. I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
Right.
So that's why I've got my little tool, my guide here on different flavors and whiskey to try and explore this, because this is going to be unique. This is even older than the stuff we reviewed. We had the old Doers and things review from the 70s,
Right.
80s, but those are a lot younger whiskey.
That's a good cross point, though, Andrew. I want to bring up on this website that I'm reading about it. It says that over the years, this blend was available as a Deluxe and a Deluxe 8 and 12 and a Royal 12 and a 25-year-old. My curiosity is that Deluxe must have been a thing back then, because that Doers that I've got is a Deluxe.
Interesting.
Yeah. See, this Doers, it says Ni Plus Deluxe. So I don't know what that phrase, what that term meant back then, but obviously it meant something for branding or to knock up the price a little bit or something of that nature. I don't know.
Like a buzzword or something.
Yeah. Right. Well, okay.
Talk.
Well, let's pour this guy out and see what we think of it. How about that?
Yeah, that's what I've been noticing.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm letting it air out a little bit. It smells. So I had just been tasting a sherry bomb, so it's a very contrast to that. Not a sherry bomb, obviously. Fairly light. Probably has color in it. I mean, whatever. That's okay.
I'm doing the whiskey mystery bottle shake for bubbles.
But it's an interesting the nose. There's nothing like that's standing out. It definitely when I first poured it, it smelled like there's a fairly significant portion of grain in there, but it's really kind of mellowed out. Even just
mellow.
Honestly, Andrew,
Very
I thought the same thing when I first poured it and started to nose it. It had a little bit of an acetone nose to it, and it smelled kind of strong of grain whiskey. But as you aerated it and that kind of wafted off, I'm getting some like fresh fruit.
I get fruit big time.
Yeah, there's like some apple and pear and things like that coming through.
Yeah, like I'm getting some toast, some breadiness.
Interesting. It started off, the first nose was really mellow. There wasn't much to it at all, but a couple of swirls and 5 or 10 seconds later, and all of a sudden, it just started opening up.
Fruits are really coming out now.
I even got some marmalade and some things like that going on. Like it's got some fruit on the nose, so it's going to be an interesting dram, I think.
Yeah.
So this is a 25-year, right? Is that correct?
You said it was 43%?
That's correct.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of fruit on the nose up front.
lots of honey. So the palate
Even
is
banana.
rich in honey. Tastes like I just took a pull from my beehive. Very honey flavored.
Ripe banana
Wow.
too.
You are absolutely right, Andrew. And there's a malt foundation underneath it, which is surprising. I expected there to be a lot higher of a grain flavor on it. And
It's like banana bread.
yeah, the very after finish is definitely banana bread.
It's got walnuts and banana bread and
Exactly what it is.
there's some fruit up front. That's really nice.
Sean, you just nailed it. It's walnut banana bread.
Yep.
You got a little bit of banana semi-sweetness to it, a little bit of kind of the flour, and you got like a really dry nut, like a walnut type taste to it in the finish.
Yeah, the walnut finish. I'm not sure I'm getting the banana, but definitely honey. Definitely like the flour, the herb flour. Yeah, not herb, spiced flour.
Man.
So I would say there's probably so I'm not getting any smoke on this at all. I'm not getting really much sherry.
No.
Are you getting any sherry in this? Is
No.
it pretty
No.
much you make and bourbon barrels? Is that what you'd say?
I don't
think so.
I don't get that vanilla. I think they're spent bourbon barrels.
Could be. I'm getting some vanilla in the nose now that you mention it, of course.
Tom, they would be made with it would be like a number 4 banana. So starting to get brown, but not quite over the top yet.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I'm getting that on the nose and getting some more banana.
This is an interesting glass because it's much brighter and fruitier than I would have expected, especially for the age that it is. And the fact that it's a blended whiskey, I mean, it's got a lot more malt character than I would have thought too.
So, Drew, for those that are just joining us, what exactly are we tasting again?
Yeah,
Go through.
This is the Ambassador 25-year blended Scotch, 43 ABV.
Bottled in
Bottled
the
in.
mid-80s, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this would have been probably distilled in the early 60s,
Right.
bottled in the 80s.
Or in the 60s.
Bottle- Bottle's been sealed the whole time?
Yeah, he has
Yeah,
a
'cause he had the-
he opened it just to pour samples.
Hmm.
This
It
is
is
For okay, so let's piggyback on your old classic conversation, Andrew, about just the old blends, the vintage, right?
Yep.
Which reminds me of that. Like I get blends today, and don't get me wrong, there's some decent blends I've had, but this is just elegant, right? It's something to it. It's got a mystique to it. It's got some kind of almost like an age quality to it because it's got that semi malt finish. It's got that banana apples on the nose. It's got a little bit of complexity. The blend is nice. It's got some stuff going on with the nut, the semi sweetness. This is a really quality dram.
So,
it's nice.
You guys
Andrew,
pull grain out of there?
What?
you asked.
Can
You
you guys
asked
pull
Andrew if
grain out? Do you smell the grain?
Maybe a
I
little
don't get any grain.
flour earlier. So
I
But
don't either.
ironically enough, if I sit there and really concentrate on what I'm smelling, I honestly get a little hint of Oloroso on the back of it, on the nose. And it's not a heavy sherry influence, but it's just one of those small qualities that you get out of Oloroso, the difference between an Oloroso and a PX. And I can't describe what that difference is. I just know what it is.
yeah.
That's a tasty
But
grain.
man, it's complex as all get out. I can't believe how much it's changing on the nose every time I go back in there. This is definitely so. I'm going to be honest, you guys. I saved half of this little bottle here because I think this other half is going to be me in a glass and myself. That's it. You know, I want to spend some time with this one. This is interesting.
I would hate. So it is a blended whiskey. So you think that it's perfect for putting on water and ice and putting in a mix. No, this is not that. This is one of those ones where if you could put water on it, we probably should put water on it to see what it does. But I would definitely not chill it down. I would not put an ice rock on it. I would definitely not blend it. It's too fun for that. It's too interesting to do that with.
It's
So
delicious.
Yeah.
It's surprising It wasn't at all what I was expecting. Of all the things that I had going through my head when I'm thinking it's a 25-year-old whiskey, it's from older stock. I wasn't at all thinking about bright, fruity, kind of forward-facing whiskey. I was thinking more deep flavors and deep profiles. It's got the complexity, but it's bright and fun up front, like a younger whiskey would be.
See, I'm not getting the brightness out of it, but I would have expected to be kind of stale and flat. I mean, you're spending 25 years in a bottle. There's still some off gassing. You still get some transition in the air around it.
Mustiness or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe there's some stale paper kind of that I would think you get into that kind of flavor, but really as it sits there and you get all those high volatiles out, it really is very pleasant, very nice.
Let me take a quick second. We got some newcomers I'm seeing. I see John. How you doing, John DeVoe? And then I see Bill and Alex, and our Fairwind sailor Everwind is late to the show. Everyone, you're missing out on a very interesting blend that we're trying to dissect. I think it's catching us all a little off guard. I think it's a little bit more than I think we all expected.
Did you guys add water to it?
No,
I didn't. I'm going to here in the last finger of this pour.
We got to move on because we got all the whiskeys to try.
Right?
I did. You guys are going to be really surprised.
Oh, dude,
it's good.
I added some water.
Is it?
I do smell the sherry now. Weird.
I'm gonna have to try the water on my next glass because
oh my god,
bottle.
Of course you did.
Honestly, I got this drop. It retained for the most part the same values that we did on the nose and palate. I will say though that it's got a longer finish, and I think there is now a kick of a sherry influence now on the palate than I had.
There is. There is.
Weird.
I get it on the nose.
Yep.
For sure.
Mm.
Wouldn't you love to know what this
sherry
blend
cap
was made of?
I would.
Any information on that?
Wow.
I'm getting
So
I'm getting maple syrup on the glass rinse even.
out of curiosity, do any of you guys know if this company is still around?
I've no idea. What was it, Taylor and Ferguson or something like that?
Yeah.
Yep.
My guess is it either went out of business when the bust happened or it got acquired by a different company.
Yep.
And absorbed.
Well,
What's
I
the
can
deal,
tell you
guys?
this. Greg Lewis, enjoy the hell out of that bottle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's good.
That's a good bottle.
And
Well worth
pour it for special occasions, man. Don't kill this one because I think you really can enjoy a dram of this over the long haul. It's fun. It's really good.
You'll take this to a party and some Scotch snob will say, "Oh, I don't drink blends," and that's an old blend. No, they don't know what they were doing 20 years ago. They don't know how to blend.
I'm not taking it out of my house.
I disagree. They knew what they were doing because this is delicious. This is really good. It's right in the sweet spot of what you're looking for in a nice, great Scotch. It's just delicious.
Agreed. It's very nice. Very well done.
In that time, in the mid '80s, blends were the stuff, man. That was the stuff that people did. You didn't have single malts then, so you put all your good whiskey into your blend.
Ironically enough, that was the second to the last take on this dram. I did get some grain on that. I definitely the grain came out on that drink, and not in a negative way. It's not bad, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You definitely can discern the difference.
Yeah. Although I would say that it is not a forward grain whiskey at all.
No.
Which, I'm curious because we'll get into this here in a little bit, you guys. When we get to Scotch in the News, one of the articles I pulled up to talk about really was just for these stats. In today's market, when you see a blend, it said something like 60 to 80% of that liquid is grain whiskey. I'm curious to know back in the 80s if that was the same. Something tells me, my gut would say that it was more malt than they're putting in grain in blends today. I think that they're putting,
based on the ones that we tasted when we did that lineup and this one, I would say that they were doing, maybe it was 50-50 or even more.
That's what I would say.
I mean, they were definitely cutting the malt with the grain, but I think it was done with purpose and not just to mass produce and throw a product on the shelf.
Yep.
Yeah. And today I understand if you're putting 80% grain, I mean, that's how you're able to put it on the shelf for $15, $20, right?
Yeah.
I get it. Well, look, Greg, you didn't need to do that because you sent us these samples, but man, delicious. Thank you, Greg.
It was wonderful. Very wonderful. We really appreciate it.
Speaking of the devil, there it is.
Oh,
Man.
good stuff. Thanks, Greg.
I'm actually really excited and appreciative that I got a chance to try that whiskey because it's not that
we have officially tried a whiskey that was distilled before we were born now.
Well, I've had a couple of those.
Yeah, I guess this is the second one. Yeah.
So I saved a nice pour, and like you, Mark, too. I'm gonna pour this another night and just sit and rest, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
I'm gonna sneak up on this one.
Does that mean we need to let this sit out for 25 minutes until it's ready?
It tasted ready to me.
Of course.
Pretty damn good.
Okay. So
right, next,
Travis Faircloth, you are on the hot seat, my friend. I really wanted to have you. I wanted to have Travis on the show. He wasn't able to make that happen, but he is on the chat. So I know he's actually doing some honeydew list right now. I think he's still hanging a backsplash, but he said he would join the chat. So I saw him in here. Travis, which one do we start with? You have sampled, you have tasted both of these. These came from you. Tell me which one to start with, and we'll talk about that one first and get into it. So I want to point out to everybody the cool labeling that he did for the samples. I mean, mind you, what are these bottle sizes, Andrew? These the 1 ounce bottle sizes. But look at the pain and effort he put into the labeling. I mean, they match the real labels, right? And then tons of information on the back. It's got everything you need to know about the cask, the liquid. Same with the Glendronach one.
Yeah.
How freaking cool is that? Yeah, when they showed up, I was like, man, and then the dipping that he put on top of the samples, it matches the color that it should, right? As like, so I talked to him about that, and I got his mixture on his wax. He uses I think it's 3 glue sticks to 1 crayon to get that mix.
That's awesome.
Yeah, how cool is that, right? So anyway, Travis, we're waiting for you to tell us which one you think we should start with. I think you're going to say the Kilkerran 15. That's kind of where I'm leaning. He says he'd go. No, there you go. He says he would go with the gas bottle if it were me. Kilkerran has a light peat, so might want to finish with that one. Thank you for the suggestion. I'm glad we waited. So I don't know how many of you that are watching the show on the chat or whatever are members or follow. It's not really a membership, but if you guys are joined the Glendronach Appreciation Society Facebook group. That was started by a guy named Sean Russell. And he also does the Sherry Bomb Facebook group. But he's amassed quite a following of Glendronach lovers there. And they were able to convince Whiskey Abbey to partner with them to do a single cask bottling from Glendronach. They got the master blender involved. They picked a 27-year-old PX Puncheon cask number 5850. And the way they were able to get this done, Whiskey Abbey took care of the front end of it for them. You had to register for a drawing, and if you got drawn, you had the ability to buy that cask. I remember when they opened it up, I did not put my name in a hat because Whiskey Abbey quit shipping to Indiana, and I did not want to get selected and not be able to buy it. I would have ended up in jail. I just know how that would have gone. So I didn't. Travis obviously did. He was selected. He bought a bottle, and then he sent us samples, which floors me because I just know that this is going to be flat out incredible.
Yeah, well, look,
This
is half an ounce in the glass. Look how dark that is.
It's
it's oil. I mean, it's the name of the they named it, nicknamed it, I should say. They nicknamed it the Belter If you can read that, I don't know if it'll focus, but
It is a
the
little
Belter is what this is called. 1992 distilled, bottled in early 2020, 27-year-old PX Puncheon, cask number 5850. This was bottle 418 of 645.
So what is the ABV on it? 54.5?
54.5. Yes. 54.5% ABV.
I haven't smelt it yet. I've been covering it up, letting it sit.
I haven't either.
It smells exactly like heaven.
So
I
if you ever get sent to heaven, this is going to be in all the sensor, the sensey things that go to create the smell of heaven.
You tell me I'm lying.
No, I can't say.
I think there were actually 10 people that won, that were selected, actually got signed bottles by Miss Berry, who is the master blender for Glendronach. So I also know that if you're a member of that Facebook group, which they're always putting awesome bottles on it. It's a great group of people. There have been 2 bottles that have shown up on auction sites. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this. If you're one of those people, it's not well received. I mean, the entire Glendronach Appreciation Society knows it. They posted on Facebook and said, who won this bottle? But, I mean, that's your prerogative. I don't know. If I would have won one of the signed bottles, whether I would have opened it or not, I kind of wouldn't have wanted one of the signed bottles because I definitely would have wanted to open this.
Yeah.
Well, it would have still looked nice on the shelf empty. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Be all right.
Amazing.
Hey, before I start, I want to give a shout out. My brother-in-law is on, Michael. I saw him up top. So, yeah.
Hey, cool. Well, hey, Michael, thanks for joining. I see a couple of other people that I've never seen on, or at least tonight. I see Mark Stengel and Mark McKenzie, Justin O. Lots of good people joining.
Yes.
Whiskey in the Six. Check out Rob.
Yep,
My man, Rob.
And Scotch on the Bayou's in, and this is a bottle that I think she would very much appreciate.
Oh my gosh! So my first nose on this, you guys, is literally if anybody asks you what's a PX finished or matured Scotch supposed to smell like, that. That's it.
It's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. It is absolutely insane.
It's fairly hot on the nose. Are you guys getting that? I mean, maybe
No.
It's got some. At first it didn't, but now it is getting a little hot in the nose. I'm trying to get past it again.
So it's a rich ruby fruit. It's
very rich,
raisiny.
Yeah, raisins and dried cherries, maybe currant.
Yeah,
really rich, dark,
a little edgy.
I think it's funny talking about new people, man. Everybody's at home right now, and I talk to a lot of people, and it's like, what are you doing? Well, besides drinking every day.
Yeah, exactly.
True. So, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
All right, I'm going in.
Yep.
Mm.
Holy cow, man.
Glendronach, 1982, 27-year-old.
Oh, that finish.
I'm just going to tell you guys, I love my mother, but this Scotch is smack your mama good.
Holy moly.
Wow.
It is so much bigger, and the finish, I still taste it just like I just swallowed it.
Right. It stays with you for a very long time. But I needed this dram so bad because to me, this is really, really highlighting the difference between PX and Oloroso, because that to me is I still struggle sometimes. I mix the two up in my mind and what I smell, taste. This is so classic. There is no Oloroso in there at all.
So describe the difference, Mark. What do you see different?
There's none of that old mustiness. Yeah. I think Oloroso, just smelling it and tasting it, I kind of feel like I'm chewing on a 200-year-old book from a dusty library. There's none of that in this. It's definitely much more of a forward red berry currant. You said it earlier. That's what I'm getting out of this.
But it's deep.
Man, and it lasts. It's still there on the palate. Damn it, man.
So I'm getting a little bit of alcohol burn on it. I'll say that it does burn a little bit, and the nose and the palate really align. It doesn't change a lot. You're not like, here's one thing and then you get something else on the palate. That PX is so dominant. I think it gives you that consistent nose and palate.
Man, that is.
I love the color.
It's so good. It is very rare for me that you get a Scotch that when you nose it, it's got all of these deep, rich characters to it. And then you take a sip and the Scotch matches up perfectly with what you smelled. And the finish, like everything about it is just big and bold. It's not overwhelming. It just kind of fills up your senses with everything that it is. And even after you swallow, and the finish lingers just forever. And it doesn't like get bitter or weird or bring out like unpleasant flavors. It just kind of is what it is the entire time.
But is that lack of complexity though?
No, it's so complex, but it never gets unbalanced or unharnessed in any way. You know what I mean? There's no flavor that I can identify as like punching out, and standing above. You get like deep red fruits. There's a lot of sugar, like deep sugars, caramels, and like deep molassesy type flavors. There's a little bit of bitter dark chocolate on the back.
I was just going to say there's a little bit dark chocolate on the back end.
So I mean,
the nose is getting way better as we sit here.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those glasses that you could just sit down and we've got a 1 ounce pour, and I think that's like an hour-long glass. You could just sit there and slowly sip it and appreciate it. Like I still taste the last sip. I've only had 2 sips in this glass, and it's been plenty. I'm not in a hurry to finish it. It's wonderful.
Let me have a let's talk, Mark. Hold on a second. Because I want something to say about this.
Do what you got to do.
Well, it's PX, man. This is Pedro Ximénez all the way. And everything you guys have said so far, but I want to add the fact that not only does it have the PX bomb you're looking for, the deep, rich, some almost chocolatey, but just, raisiny. It's just so amazing. But it also has a little bit of like coffee and almost like a hint of espresso on the end of it. It's really nice because it blends all into that, and then the finish is right there with maybe the coffee bitterness or maybe dark chocolate or whatever. But it's simply amazing. It really is, and it's got the heat to it. I hadn't put water on it. I think the water is going to just blow it up.
That's the thing. So Mark McKenzie said, put some water on it.
Right.
So,
fair question.
I agree with you, Drew. I got a little bit of a coffee bean on the end, on the nose. I mean, it's the as I'm pulling it away from my nose and still smelling it, I can get a little bit of that. And I almost said it, but I was like, was it there or was it not? And so when you just validated, that made me say, all right, I'll go forward. I'm going to put just a drop on this because I am going to save the other half of that bottle, that sample, for something.
Me too.
You know who would really like this bottle? KB.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save the other half of that, and maybe I guess I'll put it out there. I'm going to freaking regret doing this because I can't replace this one. But stand by me, guys, and listen to this. Save some if you can. I have a bottle of 1992 Glendronach cask number 66. It's 26 years old. It was bottled at 26, not 27. Bottled in the are distilled in the same year, but it is Oloroso bud.
Oh,
so
yeah.
There it is, night and day Oloroso PX. I think we've got about as good of a comparison as you're ever going to get.
I cannot wait.
And Drew says he's knocking on the door.
Yeah, I'm going upstairs. I'll be at Mark's house in about 2 minutes.
Save as much as you can right now.
Yep.
Because I'm going to pour out samples of this guy, and we'll do this. I would love to do it in person, man. I'm so sick of this. I mean, this works and all, guys, but man, I want to be down in Sean's bar right now, listening to Molly's.
Can we do a 6 foot gap kind of discussion where we were 6 feet apart? And
anybody that's been to this bar knows that there is no 6 feet apart.
So one lost cause. We are all drinking this 27-year-old PX 1992 sample that Travis Faircloth shared with us. I brought this out because this is it's almost a brother to this. I mean, same year, 1992, but it's an Oloroso butt as opposed to a PX Puncheon. So they're going to be very fun to compare side by side.
Wait, did you see what Bob just posted on his comments? He's a Glendronach 26, 1992 single cask PX.
Right. So he's got
earlier
a brother to this as well.
Yes,
just exactly. It was bottled a year earlier.
Yep. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
So let me see what the water did to this, guys. What do you think about that? Have you gone into it yet?
Yeah, it's a little bit. My ratio is a little off on the left.
I think it's sweetened it up.
It's sweeter. It's got more chocolate notes to it than I did before.
Well, you're getting a lot more of the sweetness out of the PX than I think we got neat. I put probably too much water on it, but it just became almost syrupy sweet, which is not bad. It's just a little different. I appreciated it better, neat personally.
Yeah. With the water, I want to put it over pancakes.
It's almost like a waffle, maple syrup, chocolate bits on it, and a little bit of kick at the end.
So I will say, when we can all sit at my bar again, we'll do this comparison.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we all need to be together to do this properly, because it's a really good bottle, and I can't wait to try yours, Mark. I'm sure that. Well, I mean, because you're looking at an Oloroso versus a PX, like there will not be a better comparison.
No,
PX
than that. They were both laid down in the same year. Everything is. I mean, this is same new make. You're going to see what the difference between a PX cask can do and an Oloroso cask can do. I mean,
there is a difference. I still remember sitting at KB's place, and we were doing that with the Beeston 20 and 10. We were going back and forth, and there's a pretty big difference between the two.
Yes. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
This sets a pretty high bar for us to pick a cask, fellas.
Oh. That's true.
They got a lot more following than we do, boys.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Drew, you see who's on?
Papa's in the house.
Papa's in the house. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
So
all right, so I'm gonna finish this my Glendronach off here.
Oh, it's time for the Kilkerran.
Man, that was good. I want to drink more of that, like a lot more of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, can you send me
in the meantime, while we clean our glasses out and enjoy that last drink of Glendronach for the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna jump into a couple of the Scotch in the news articles. And see if we can get some folks talking about this just a wee bit. I actually need to pull it up, so stand by, Larry. Let me get over here.
And you want me to do it?
Oh, I mean, you can put them on the screen if you want. So the first one, I mean, this is really all over Google right now. If you just Google Scotch and hit the old news tab, I guess last year this happened, but Pope Francis was visiting some new Scottish priests into the ranks or whatever, and they had presented him with a bottle of Oban as a gift, and he had made a comment that and held it up and said, "This is the true holy water," or whatever, right? And for some reason, it went unnoticed by the news sources or whatever, and it's just finally hitting the airways, and everybody's making a huge big deal of it, which I think is funny because he said it in jest, obviously. But what cracks me up about the story is the Vatican is censoring it like it never happened. Like they're embarrassed to say that the Pope actually said that it's the true holy water, which he's allowed to drink alcohol, for God's sakes. And he's been known to enjoy a nip here or there. So what's the big deal, man?
I've worked in restaurants a long time, and I don't know how many times if you work in an area where there's a prominent Catholic community, you will see the priests come in with families for dinner all the time, and
Exactly.
part of the deal, you know what I mean? And they drink and they have fun, and whatever, they're people too. So if the Pope likes whiskey, I'm happy you enjoy it, man.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I had to select this topic just because of the sheer number of articles that are being written about it. I'm like, geez, man, let it go. What's the big freaking deal? So the Pope likes Scotch.
There isn't any other news right now, man. It's either about the virus or hey, there's this Pope thing from a year ago.
Yeah, right. I guess so. So anyway, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but there was an article on Forbes that said how to build the ultimate whiskey bar, finding exceptional values in blended Scotch. And I was like, you know what, this is going to be a good topic because we're going to get into one of these blends, right? And so what caught me, what I really wanted to talk about in the whole article, because he definitely goes down. If you read way down into the article, he talks about the different. So there's the sweet blends that he talks about. He talks about fruity blends, fruity and floral, and then peaty, smoky ones. And you can make up what you think he's going to say there because you're going to be right. It's not like this is, rocket surgery here. But what caught me interested on the article was that in the second paragraph, it says in 2018, 82% of Scotch whiskey exports by volume to the U.S. were blended. 82% were blended. Okay. So only 18% of Scotch hitting the U.S. shores in 2018 was single malt. I can't believe that.
I can believe that.
Walker.
I'm just speechless. I mean, okay, so then I keep reading down, and it's like, okay, so the U.S. market for Scotch is 1.62 billion. That's 22%, almost 25% global market comes to the U.S. And some of the numbers that they're throwing down here, you go down a couple paragraphs down below, and that's what I was talking about earlier, was that the grain whiskey from blends consisted of 60 to 80%, depending on the blend and the price point. And to me, that just seemed even higher than I expected. Maybe I just wasn't I was clueless to that, but I don't think that's what we just tasted. But if you read the rest of the article, like I said, you're not going to catch any big gotcha moments about his description of the various, types of blended Scotch that he's breaking the article author is breaking them into. It's okay. So fruity, sweet, and peated. All right. You guys know what that means and what you were going to expect to see as far as blends in those. But I was just more interested in the statistics and the numbers that the guy was throwing out. And then.
So those percentages were by volume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by volume, blends are by far the biggest, but by value, you have to look at other statistics because the value of the single malts are much higher. Well, much higher per liter, I guess, than the blends. And so that's where the U.S. market is very heavy in value of the single malts, but still the volume of the blends is high, but it just doesn't have the price per liter.
I see what you're saying. That's an interesting topic, and we could probably kill an hour on it.
Well, you're talking about different markets too. I mean, you've got completely different market segments that are purchasing. You do have some higher end blended scotches that are going to consumers, but the vast majority of that blended Scotch category is probably going to restaurants. It's going into, when I'm purchasing liquor, nobody's buying single malts by the case.
Nope.
You know what I mean? You're buying a bottle and that's what you've got. But
right.
maybe you're buying a case of like a 12-year, something that you're going through a fair amount of. But, if you're just a normal bar, you're buying Dewar's or J&B, Cuddy Sark, those are staples on a bar, and you're buying those by the case because you get a good deal. And So I mean, a lot of the volume of stuff that you're talking about is going to restaurants, hotels, places like that. Think about airlines. How many bottles of Johnny Walker or Cutty Sark or whatever, those little airline bottles, are they buying a year? That's a lot of booze. How many do you drink, Mark?
I don't know. Drew just put a comment from Tom R up there, and I was getting ready to say, watch your mouth, Tom. Are you kidding me? He says we could kill my bottle in 1992. I'm getting ready to drive up to Chicago and have words with that guy.
Yo, we need to go to Tom's place and rate his bar. Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, so the last article I want to bring up before we get into Kilkerran was
Chicago, but we don't.
I wanted to give the shout out, knowing that we were sampling a Glendronach, and how awesome it is. I wanted, and most everybody on the show probably already knows it, but this was just printed last week. So the #1 world's best whiskey, Scotch whiskey that was selected in San Francisco was the Glendronach 15 Revival. And
really,
a couple of things I want to say about it. Yes, Glendronach, awesome. Kudos for them. Everybody loves them. We love them. We're huge fanboys. But what surprises me and what actually makes me happy about this the most is that this is the new Glendronach 15 Revival, right? So the old 15 Revival was revered. It was like, oh, when you said it or brought a bottle out, angels sang and the sun came out. But everybody was nervous and worried and curious to see what was going to happen with this new Glendronach 15 Revival with the new juices, they'd said. And I'm actually excited to see that, hey, Glendronach responded. They won, right? It's good. So go buy a bottle, which is kind of cool.
They're doing good stuff. I'm not mad at them.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's the new 15 Revival is not the old 15. It's not. And I don't think they said it was going to be. And I think that's what everybody was worried about. I think what's refreshing to see, though, is that even though it's not the old, it's obviously still pretty good stuff. Drew says, let's get to the Kilkerran, baby.
Right.
So Kilkerran 15, single cask, another bottle sent to us via Travis Faircloth. And this is a distilled in May of 04, bottled in August 2019, which gives it a 15-year-old age statement. It is 51.5% ABV, and there were 280 bottles produced out of the cask. One of the points I made earlier that I found interesting is that it is matured in 10 years with an Oloroso sherry butt, and then put into a refill bourbon hogshead for 5 years. And to me, that's backwards. Everything I always read is they always put it in the bourbon first, and then they throw it in a sherry one. This one just caught me off guard.
Your bottle.
Sean, so this is spent bourbon barrel finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Sean. Exactly what you do. So, again, awesome, dip that he put on the top, and a label it just looks like a Kilkerran label.
What? This is going to be Drew's Funk Town right here, man.
Yeah. So Sean and I poured ours like 10 minutes ago.
Right? We've been waiting for us to get to this Scotch.
Been nosing in.
Go for it, boys.
Drew and Mark they were holding off, which
well,
great on their part.
We're working.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you. Oh, wow. Wow. What region is this from? Did you say? Was this island?
Somewhere down south.
It's a Campbelltown, right?
The Peter?
Smells like a Campbelltown. I'm getting a jalapeno on the palate. Weird.
It's right here.
It's been so long, man. So long. There you go. So I think I'm going to like this, fellas. It's got a little bit of the funk, a little bit of the sweet.
I think it's got a lot of the funk.
It does on the nose, but the weird thing is I took the first sip, I actually tasted jalapeno peppers. Weird. It's weird in my mind. That's what came up. But you have that muskiness, that dark, that just like Mark was saying earlier in the evening. the Oloroso Sherry is a mustier, old book kind of nose. But this has that absolutely.
Thank God I didn't taste jalapeno peppers, because I was going to come to your house and freaking kick your door down and be like, "Why'd you do that to me?" I don't want to taste jalapeno peppers.
I was gonna say it's sweeter than I thought it would be. I mean, it's got a real sweet palate. I like it, man. It's like eating creme brulee.
So, Andrew, before I forget, do me a favor. You've got an open bottle. Take another glass and just pour a finger of that Kilkerran 8 next to this.
Boy, that's
across the street and pour me a finger.
That's so sweet relative to this.
So it definitely has the nose of Campbelltown, right? If you smelt this and didn't know what it was, blind, and I asked you to tell me what region you thought it came from, I think you guys would hit 100% on it. I don't think that's a.
I'll tell you what, now that I've had a sip and it's aired off a little bit, the funk isn't as prominent on the nose as it was when I tasted it.
So that Kilkerran 8 cast strength is like a maple syrup poured into the 15. It's so more forward on the nose, so much sweeter, so much younger. I don't know if the finishing in that bourbon that may have really toned down that sherry note.
I think it did. I think it did.
The nose for me, I get like caramel brownies. You know, brownies when you get the caramel mixed in with it. That's what I'm getting on the nose.
Yeah. So weird. So now that I put them side by side, the 8 cast strength 8 and the 15, all of a sudden I'm getting the maple syrup on the 15. I got to clear my nose or something.
So let me ask you guys a question and see if I'm on the right track with this. Now that I've tasted this, knowing that it was in an Oloroso cask first, and then it sat in a probably spent bourbon barrel for a while, because I don't get a whole lot of bourbon influence on this at all. What I'm getting is I get that Oloroso, but it's almost deeper and more unified, if that makes sense.
It's almost more port.
Yeah, I mean it's more. It's not just a superficial finish. But it's not like it sat in that Oloroso for, like the last one that we had, that Glendronach, obviously sat in that PX for a long time and acquired a bunch of it. This has had time to like acquire the flavors and then sit and kind of mellow out a little bit and kind of incorporate some of those flavors, but off-put some of the other flavors. I don't know how to describe it, but it's very different from what I would expect.
Is it fair to say that I can get that bourbon? I get that. I get a vanilla note in there. I didn't expect to, and I'm just curious to know if it's because of the order that they barreled. I just
get a nice creme brulee kind of thing. It's got like a burnt sugar with like a vanilla custardy kind of undertone to it.
It's subtle though. Those were not new barrels. I have to say, those bourbon barrels were not new.
No, they were at least second fill. But it does give a little bit of character to it. It's a very interesting glass.
Well, yeah, it says refill. So, I mean, we just don't know. Like you said, it could be third, fourth, second. I don't
know. I'm pretty much exactly aligned with Sean on this one. It does have a hint of slight hint of funk at the very trail end, more wood than anything else. But I'm with you, like a deep creme brulee, almost like a fudge brownie almost type of sweetness to it.
The funk that I referred to, it's wafted off kind of like a peat. I mean, if we opened up an Isla and you're like, whoa, man, that thing is powerful, man. That's just punching me in the face. And you let it sit there for 10 minutes, you come back and all of a sudden it's mellowed out. You still get a hint of it. It's there. It's an Isla, but it's not punching you in the nose anymore. It literally wafted off. I can get to the Oloroso now.
It's a very interesting glass. I'm very happy we have a sample of this because it's nice.
Yeah, I agree. Who has the 8 open and is trying it?
I do. That 8 is so much brighter.
Yeah.
I don't have one open, Drew, and
So I saw. Hey, Mark, I saw you open a Kilkerran. What was that?
I didn't open it.
You know,
it was already open. What was the box that you opened that you pulled the bottle out of?
It's not opened. The bottle's not opened. I wanted to see the color difference.
Man. When we get to the Zoom call in a minute, I'm gonna tell you what's up.
Wow, Sean's keeping it a family show, kids.
I am.
Some, and then on Mark's camera, I'll pour you some.
No, so I mean, honestly, to wrap it up on the Kilkerran, it's definitely a Kilkerran. It has that Campbelltown characteristic, but it is not the 8 from what I remember of. I don't have it to compare that you do. Yeah. And it's very enjoyable. It's very well balanced, and I get a very interesting finish of that vanilla. And I just think my mind is stuck on the order of maturation. I can't get over that. Someone needs to smack me, and like an airplane.
I actually think that it's important in this glass. I really do. A lot of the sherry finish whiskeys that we try, you get like deep. Depending on what the bourbon barrel was that they aged primarily in, you might get some deep vanillas and some things out of that bourbon barrel, but then you get superficial Oloroso or PX or whatever they put it in. And so it kind of glazes over the top, whereas this one feels like it's deep ingrained into the whiskey. And then it's got, the vanillas and all of those things are kind of layered on top of that. It's a very interesting glass. I enjoy this.
Yeah. If I'm a blender or a taster in the distillery, you have this in 10 years in Oloroso sherry, you're like, whew, that may have gone too far. We need to bring it back. It's a bourbon barrel for a few years. Bring it back to a more mellow tone. That may be what you have here.
I think that it's an interesting glass just for the maturation.
It was over sherry.
What it does. So yeah, I mean, it's fun. I'm very happy we got a chance to sample this.
Yeah, it's great. That's the beauty of whiskeys in Scotland and elsewhere. The things you can do with wood and the barrels you put them in just blow the mind. You have a barrel that's too far gone. You bring it back. You put it in a fairly dead bourbon barrel. It mellows it out. It brings a little vanilla up, and it gives it time to kind of
absorb flavors and so figure out what to do with them.
Yep.
I would say, I think what I'm smelling at the end here is it smells much more vanilla forward than I would expect to. But because, like you said, Andrew, this is a refill barrel. This is not like a heavily influenced thing. But I think what's happening is that bourbon barrel, that refill bourbon barrel, is taming down the punch of the sherry to the point, but still retaining the sweetness of that sherry. Plus, the bourbon barrel's bringing a little bit of that sweetness to it because it's really sweet on the nose.
Yeah.
Look what my son brought down for me. Isn't that nice of him?
It is nice of him.
Wow. He should bring it down to me.
Train him and say, "Hey, right? Look what I got."
See how nice he is, Drew. See how nice he is. If he'll come down to my house.
Hey, take it down to Mark.
That would be
Mark. He's got a bottle at his bar.
I'm gonna send Molly down to retrieve that for me. How about that?
Molly, maybe. Yeah, Sean, I'm not sure she has one at his bar.
She just came down the stairs to let us all know that it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
it is. I'm actually going to finish this off and enjoy it. Travis Faircloth, thank you very much, Travis, for sending these. I'm sorry to both Travis and Greg that it took us so long to get to these. I got to be honest, we were really trying to be in person to do this, but that's looking like it might be still yet a little while, and we didn't want to leave you hanging too long. All 3 samples in my mind were incredible scotches, guys. We're really fortunate to be able to sample some of these, and I'm appreciative to both Greg and Travis.
Yep, we always appreciate anything we get. This was a lot of fun. I had a good time tonight.
Right. just a quick shout out as to what's coming. We have yet another live show on Monday. Since we're still not doing reviews, my gosh, it's been a while. I would really like to get into that. But I am on the hot seat for a blind challenge with these guys. So I've been working diligently. Actually, if you look on my shoulder right there, you'll see all the bottles are put out. I had to take the bottles that I'm pouring into them and put them around the corner so these guys wouldn't see them. But everything is
J&B. I see.
no. On the bar behind me are all the empties. They're all labeled. Everything's ready. The blind challenge is typed up, written. Everything's good to go. I just need to pour the samples and be done. And actually, one of the main reasons, Andrew, I finished this bottle is I need this bottle. I need to wash it. So I'm going to enjoy this. And so thank you, Travis. The label's coming off and this will be stripped. But tune in Monday, guys, for Monday at 5 p.m., Drew?
Yes.
And it'll be a fun live show. I am going to post everything on our Discord channel to everybody so that you guys can follow me and my blind without telling them what they're actually drinking. It should be some fun. There's some curveballs. It's just a good time. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So stay tuned on Monday for that. What else we got going on, boys?
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Living the
So
dream.
we are not able to do our standard review a bottle a week because of the distancing. We're going to try and figure out how to do that. Maybe we can split some bottles around and do that in the same format that the four of us are in different locations. But
yeah,
lines are great. I'm next week. If we don't have a guest, I'll be next week on doing the blind. My selection is more limited, but the guys don't know what I have, so that's kind of nice. And I've got some bottles that maybe I can open that they've never had, or they don't know that I have open. So
if you make a trip to CVS, I swear to you.
Yeah, well, it'll be the CVS challenge.
Hey, man, I'm fine with that. You do you, buddy.
That's
I'm
true.
okay with whatever you bring me. Come on. It'll be all right.
All right. So for our patrons, we're going to kick it over and do. There's a lot of people that want us to do a Zoom after show.
Yeah, we'll do a quick one.
Okay.
All right. So, guys, thank you. Happy Thursday. I appreciate everyone that joined us in the chat and had a great time. Miss you guys. Still dying to get together and actually drink one. But until then,
Cheers.
cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Have a good night.